The Power and Hope in Being Plural. Riley Renewal. Plural World Conference 2023. Trigger warning. Negative self-talk. Mentions of trauma and ableism. I spend a lot of time in bed. Even while writing this and likely reading it, I am in bed. I see the world largely through a frosty plastic curtain adorned with red and white printed flowers and a 13-inch laptop screen. I'm surrounded by a sea of trash, bottles, and various other items that I want within arm's reach. I cannot afford to get out of bed to grab them. Each time I get up, it must be a strategic use of my limited energy. I often have to forego refilling the humidifier that keeps our skin further from the sensation of a full-body burn. I am always tired, always in pain, always itchy, always disgusting. I feel useless as a human being, let alone the shame for those of ourselves identifying as mythical beings. I feel like a perverted child who can never grow up enough due to our perceived smallness and meekness from our illnesses and the way we tend to age slide. Our dysphoria extends in so many directions. I'm not even sure what we actually look like versus what deformities I may be imagining. I have long since noticed how our different selves tend to perceive our body's face differently from each other, especially those with human or human-like forms. Still, dysphoria isn't responsible for the cheetah print of stinging cysts and lesions across most of our skin. Taking care of those is practically a job in itself and reminds me as I work that our body is not the perceived ideal in this world. Even if we ever had those during our other lives, odds are almost zero we'd ever be depicted as such because who wants to look at that? These all contribute to why I've never felt very comfortable in this body and isn't even the whole story. I haven't even gotten into our gender dysphoria, species dysphoria, the stress of ableist ideals, and the stress of being a mixed Black American. Yet, notice how all of these perceived flaws are just part of our humanity, that I wouldn't judge others for these things, so why myself? Even our illness keeping us bedridden has made us appreciate the world so much more and forces us to think through our feelings instead of avoid them. I've even realized after years of therapy that our dissociation mainly stems from bodily pain and exhaustion, not our traumatic memories. The ones I find harder to deal with now that I'm more bedridden than ever. The long walks we used to take when our tired and scared mind could do little else seem themselves now infeasible, though even then exercise made our physical symptoms worse instead of better. I still get told I'm just making myself unfit by lying in bed, as though I have a choice as someone who'd rather be out facing my inner demons and getting a cut physique at the same time. The point is, we don't really hate ourselves because of who we are. We hate ourselves because of how we're perceived and how we struggle to get care for our illnesses. We struggle really just to be understood. Knowing this, however, does little to change the politics or life circumstances that brought us to where we are. Of course, I aspire to help change things and uplift people. That's why I'm writing this now, despite feeling like a mangled car wreck in human form, but realistically, this will take time. It has been taking time, and countless people's sacrifices. So what, as a disabled individual in a broken system, are we going to do right now? Pondering that always brings me to what has saved us in our darkest moments and dullest days alike. What has allowed us to still smile and laugh despite everything we've been through. It is the knowledge of ourselves that has brought us purpose, companionship, and love. Our plurality is what has saved our life, time and time again. Because of our plurality, despite spending a lot of time alone, we've never truly been alone in our life. Admittedly, it really hurts that we can't physically interact, but that certainly doesn't keep us from spending hours talking to each other and pondering life, or just doing things while co-conscious in general. Honestly, perhaps our loneliness in life has made us better at communicating with ourselves and, in turn, with other people. If we'd only spent all our time alone without each other, I'm not sure our communication skills would have developed as much. When we're not communicating with one another for a period of time, it quickly becomes difficult both to consider and express our own thoughts and feelings. What if that had been our entire life? Even when we were most lonely or hurt, knowing our fictive selves were loved during their lives and feeling that love even now has kept us from truly losing our mind. It's kept us from truly giving up on being a sympathetic person despite all our hardships. It's given us hope that things would be okay and to not give up on people or the world so easily. We truly believe people are meant to be together and understand each other, and that belief keeps us dreaming of a better future in this world. I must admit, it also makes us lonely in different ways, thinking about everyone we used to feel so close to. Everyone is gone. Will we ever truly be reunited? My own belief system says so, but it is called belief for a reason, and we can never truly be ignorant to that. The fact, though, that we are able to go on despite having already lost everything is truly a testament to life's beauty and wonder, and it has made us feel as though we can overcome anything this world throws at us. People can go their entire lives without this appreciation, yet here we are going on 23. The love we feel from our other selves' lifetimes doesn't mean we don't love people in this world. But when the world isn't being very loving, we always have our safe places inside to go back to. I'm sure most can relate to having times in their life where they've been truly physically alone when they needed comfort. We've felt like this a vast majority of our life, and I genuinely don't feel like we'd have been able to survive without our inner safety net. It's embarrassing to say this, but for comfort from emotional or physical pain, we like to imagine someone from our other lives is there for us. It's certainly not the same as actually having someone physically there. But because we cannot always have what we need in this life, having the tools to bounce back emotionally almost no matter what is absolutely invaluable. It has allowed us to keep our softness tucked away inside for later, instead of just disintegrating from neglect. Imagine if anyone could do this. How many people take bad turns in their life just for being dealt a bad hand and not having any way mentally to deal with it? Maybe anyone can do it, but until plurality is more widely accepted, that remains to be seen. Anyways, though, being stuck inside all day is still a bummer no matter who is stuck with you. Thinking not only about what we could do before becoming sick, but what we could do in other lives makes us awfully sad. But at the same time, because of ourselves and our lives, we're able to easily see what our life could be like if we were somewhat healthier or lived in a world with better medical care. Maybe even in a world where there's more appreciation and less stigma for the disabled. I'd like to imagine because of this that our world could one day be similar, and that if it were sooner, we could accomplish and see more of what we dream. I digress, but speaking of dreams, the more we accept ourselves as a true part of our life, instead of just a lie or a secret, the more our nightmares become dreams instead. When we accept the possibility that we don't always have to be in pain, don't always have to be weak, and actually have a lot of people who love and appreciate us, our mind is freer from the ills of this world. Finally, I often feel the weight of the world, never seeing or appreciating what we've been through. Maybe that's part of why we've taken so many long walks of introspection, because we are our only witness. Even if we can just tell our story to the wind, maybe it will carry to the stars and tell people who knows where. I've always felt as though words have power, so I'm absolutely happy and honored to be giving another real presentation, despite how hard it's been to work on it. Our plurality, though, has taught us how to accept that strength and struggle are all a matter of perspective. If we could do amazing things in our other lives, why would just getting out of bed be such a struggle here? Due to prejudice surrounding invisible illnesses, we have trouble accepting how sick we are, even though it hurts us profoundly every day and keeps us from participating in the world the way many around us seem to. We used to believe fully that we were just incompetent as a person, and it was somehow our fault or our body's fault, or maybe even that our plurality itself was killing us by using too much of our body's energy. It's the opposite, though. Our plurality has kept us alive in ways this broken world could not, and we're still struggling because that same world refuses to accept or even see people like us. We know there are people who die each day who didn't have to, people who suffer more when they're the ones who need care, and those very same people could have saved the world. The more people like that we help, the more we'll find out. We're lucky we get to be telling you this. We're even luckier that there are people listening. We could easily be one of the many faceless people you will never see, where those with the most voice are generally all the most widely accepted, or even algorithmically acceptable, by AI programmed to be prejudiced, in a world where we are not accepted. Our plurality has allowed not only us to survive long enough to be known, but for the people we can help represent. Those with underfunded and researched chronic illnesses, Black and mixed race people, those under the LGBTQ+ umbrella, and of course neurodiverse people, but especially plurals. We cannot speak for everyone, only to our own experiences. But those of us who do share are helping to bring stigmatized experiences to light, and to bring corruption and inequality to light too. Empowering ourselves through shared experiences brings us closer to our own humanity. We're not meant to feel like aliens living on the outskirts of society. And we damn well shouldn't have to, because the plural experience is also a human one. That's why I find it funny when people judge us for being disabled or doubt our authenticity when we report how little we can manage. How much effort it takes even just to sit in bed because of our chronic pain and itching and our mind yearning for exercise or stimulation as an escape from our traumatic thoughts. They'd sooner believe in the strength of Superman, a fictional alien from another universe, than the strength of someone like us existing in this world. It's especially funny to me, considering in my world, Superman looks up to me. We hope you too find your flame. Our plurality is the ever-burning flame in our heart. Never let anyone telling you who you should be override who you know you are. We as plurals know ourselves the most. It is vital to our survival. We cannot ignore ourselves or our empathy. We truly can be stronger together, and that message extends to all people, especially those who have yet to accept us. Thank you.